Period. A summary of the evidence. The Hebrews before the Exodus were born and raised in Africa. A Kebalan, whatever you want to call it. The Hebrews were referred to as black several times in Scripture. The Hebrews are mistaken for Egyptians at least 3 times in Scripture. And Egyptians depicted themselves as dark-skinned people. We got to know what the people called themselves. The Hebrews intermixed with Africans in those times. People married interracially, but mainly with other people that shared the same skin tone as them. The offspring of a dark and a light person almost always result with a child that is lighter than the darkest Moors, than their parent, and the darker than the lightest parent, meaning that most Hebrews would not have been white or light-skinned. Joseph, Jesus, which is Yahshua, Mary, were all sent to hide amongst the Egyptians. How can a person hide amongst the Egyptians if they didn't look like them? And we said we're from the tribe of Judah, lineage of David by the blood. And the same thing in the biblical scriptures, because you're not reading it. The genealogy of Jesus, which is Yahshua. If you say you were more. Until the death of Herod, it would not make any sense to hide a white or light child amongst people that depicted themselves as dark. A man from Cyrene, Libya, that's Africa, was to bear the cross of Christ, as mentioned above. Cyrene, Libya, is located in Africa, Kebalan, whatever you want to call it. Following the so-called resurrection of Christ, at least one of the possible apostles was referred to as black skin, and another was from Cyrene in Libya. I'm telling you, man, you let people connotate you and you're not even questioning it. Like, well, that's what he said. That don't mean nothing. That a person said, research it. When I do lectures, I never tell nobody to believe what I say. I tell them more, get your pen, research it. Research everything I say, for you can know for sure. Because right in that word belief, it's a word called belie. Period. When I tell Moors, read the story of Aniseth and Joseph, which most Moors are not going to share with you or nobody. The Egyptian Aniseth and Joseph. Aniseth means gift of the sun god. The sun god. Huh? You got to read a lot of the stuff that's taken out, and they're not going to tell you. The Egyptian Aniseth and Joseph. The eye of Horus, an Egyptian symbol of protection against evil. Aniseth means gift of the sun god. Of the sun god. Joseph means God increases or adds to. Manasseh means God has made forget all my hardships. He became patriarch of one of the Israelite tribes. Ephraim, God has made me fruitful in the land of my misfortunes. He also became a patriarch for an Israelite tribe. I know they don't talk about them, Empress, because they don't want you to know. It's right there. I promise you. No disrespect to no of our what we like to call our elders or brothers that say they scholars. I done read too many books to believe what I've read. I have to do etymology. I have to study. When I tell Moors, if the pen doesn't match the archaeology, you must change the pen. Most of our brothers have taken oath. They'll tell you. Most of them are under European masonry. And most brothers, they'll tell you. I mean, I can show you documents. One of the elders, he tell you. I'm telling you. And they know I'm telling the truth. And I know they can't step to me. Because they know I'm telling the truth. I'm not under no oath. I'm not under no oath. Most of our brothers and sisters, they took an oath. They say they're not going to reveal history, but it's there. It's written. It's in the doctoral libraries. It's all over. They don't want you to believe, and that's BS. When I tell you, I'm a scientist, I'm a philosopher, I'm a theosophist. And it's sad that when everybody talk about the white man, the white man ain't did too. Man, the only people that did stuff to me, a Negro killed my brother. When I was growing up and I was going to the churches and I'm studying, I'm like, this ain't valid. Because most of the ministers went to schools and studied and were taught a certain way. Most preachers, they started in 1700. And when I go teach ministers that want to be under my auspices, I teach them like, man, this stuff is here. You got to go ancient. You got to go ancient. And they know this. The main theme of the story of Aniseth and Joseph, accepting God's plan for us. Aniseth must have had considerable reservation about her future husband. He had been accused of rape, all that stuff. But through her marriage with Joseph, she became the foremother of 2 important Israelite tribes who later settled in the heart of Canaan and adjacent Transjordan. Research this stuff. providence. What looks like a disaster may turn into an advantage. If Joseph had never been thrown into Gaul, he would never have developed his talent for interpreting dreams when he was alone and never came to Pharaoh's attention. He certainly would have married a high-born, cultivated woman like Seneth, an Egyptian. And the story, it was set during the Middle Kingdom, somewhere I say between 2030 BC to 1640 BC. And it's not impossible that Anaseth, as a daughter of a priest, Ra, may have played some part in the development of Yahweh, the single all-powerful God. When I tell Moors, what's in our Circle 7 Quran? The Hebrew God is the deity of, I'll show you in the hieroglyphics. Moors talk about, or I know a lot of brothers say they Egyptologists. What do it say? The YHWH in the hieroglyphics. What do it say? You don't got to believe nothing I say. You study it. And you can stand strong on your square. The story has 3 episodes. The story has 3 episodes. Joseph escapes his prison sentence. Joseph and Anaseth marry. Anaseth had 2 sons who will be essential to the Israelites' later history. Manasseh and Ephraim, who will be the forefathers of 2 of the 12 tribes of Israel. What? Yeah, research it. Joseph escapes his prison sentence. When the story begins, Joseph, son of Jacob, was in a dangerous situation. We know that. We know that, Moors. Hebrews were, the only way we knew the difference from Egyptian and Hebrews were homespun woolen clothes. Egyptians wore linen or cotton wrapped around them, or skirts. This seemed unimportant details contained as a message for diaspora, which they say diaspora, that still ain't nothing. That's to confuse you. You know, it's so much, man. It's so much light that need to be shed on scriptures. Let me see if I get light. And Pharaoh called Joseph's name, Phaneth, or Phaneth. You got to understand the tongue, how it speaks off the tongue if you somewhere the same thing. And he gave him in marriage Aseneth, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On. Like, for instance, Moors, when some Moors say Yahashua, they're saying the same thing. They're saying the same thing. But they ain't saying nothing, no replacement. I don't care what language you leave. If you speak a different dialect, your name going to be the same in their dialect. If your name Tim all over. You can't go somewhere, your name be Tim, they say, no, your name Michael. That's a replacement. That's not no transliteration. You better research what a transliteration really means. So Joseph went out over the land of where? Egypt. I'm reading biblical scripture. Joseph was 30 years old when he entered the service of Pharaoh, king of Egypt. And Joseph went out of the presence of Pharaoh and went through all the land of Egypt. I can go on and on. Before the year of the famine. Why do you think the Israelites went to Egypt first? A famine. Joseph had 2 sons, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphar, priest of On, bore him. Right? Joseph called the name of the firstborn Manasseh, or Manasseh. For he said, God had made me forget all my hardship and all my father's house. The name of the second he called Ephraim. I can show you all of when I say you don't believe nothing nobody, right? You got to research it. I can show you a book written by the Latter-day Saints that say they Ephraim. But a religion don't make you Ephraim. For God has made me fruitful in the land of my afflictions. I can go on and on with the wisdom, man. That's why I said I'm welcome in all houses, man. Because I don't come from no perspective. I don't come from trying to bash on somebody and say, oh, this and this, that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I teach. And if a person don't want to accept it, fine with me. Get the lost gospel, decoding the ancient text that reveals a lot of stuff. Jesus marriage to Mary, Magdalene, a whole bunch of old manuscripts. And somebody going, then the first thing somebody say it's not canon. Who said it wasn't canon? Who tried to tell you all things was written is good for edification? You can't take nothing or add nothing to it. That's to keep you stuck. That's to keep you stuck. You don't believe me? Hey, research it. Like I said, I ain't here to lie to the people. I just showed you on the hieroglyph, in Egyptian hieroglyph, the YHWH is there in our Circle 7 Quran. Hebrew God is the deity of Allah, all in the silent brotherhood of the East. It talks about Jesus, which is Yahshua, going through the adapt chambers. It talks about the circle and the seven. That's the Hebrew God, or the Hebrew Messiah per se. Come on, man. It's nothing. It's just what it is. So I'm gonna give a little bit of supreme mathematics, because one of my brothers, the God of Earth, he was like, man, can you break some of that wisdom down? Of course. And I'm just gonna give a little bit for my Moors. But the African creation energies modified version of the chemical weapon, the warning symbol. Y'all didn't know that? The warning symbol appears as a sign to signify that the information contained is intended to be a metamorphical or metaphorical chemical weapon, in the sense that the intent of supreme mathematics and supreme alphabet presented information and transmit motivational energies, which should serve as mental activation energy to activate that to activate that chakra, to activate your so-called third eye, right? The process of understanding and comprehension of the subject of mathematics in the mind of African people. You got to understand when I say African, don't take it out of context, please. Because if we know about landmass, the continent of Africa is big. So we got to stay in the right context. So let's talk a little bit about mathematics and what mathematics is. Mathematics is an intellectual and scientific tool created and invented by African people for the purpose of systematically studying, learning, and comprehending nature. Since mathematics is the intellectual tool used for studying nature, there is a field of mathematics, Moors, that corresponds to every aspect of nature. In the broadest sense, nature consists of space or vacuums, matter, energy, and time, existence. That's the same thing what 666 is. 6 protons, 6 neutrons, 6 electrons, but we're not going to study. The field of mathematics, called arithmetic, deals with the basic counting or quantifying things found in nature with similar qualities, Moors. That's why when I go into urban community kids and I teach them math and I teach them science and I teach them biology, they get it and they become honor students, because you must talk the language. Algebra studies that formulas and equations of nature, geometry and trigonometry. See, I didn't like this stuff when I was younger, but I love it now because I know how to teach it the right way for we can get it. It studies the spaces, shapes, and forms of nature. Calculus studies the changes over time in nature. So if you use that right, you can catch that spark in our babies. Even the mental faculties of humans are studied in the fields such as mathematical logic using binary algebra, right? Which studies logic and reason, and statistics, which studies speculation and probability or belief. Come on, y'all know I'm telling the truth. So, formal definition of mathematics state that mathematics is the scientific and systematic treatment and study of quantity, magnitude, multitude, form, structure, space, change, using symbolic objects to discover patterns, find solutions, determine conclusions, and establish truth using rigorous deductive reasoning. The etymology of the word mathematics, Moors, come from the word mathema, meaning to learn or to think, to have one's mind aroused, to be wise. Use that hippocampus. Use all 12 of your reactors in your brain. In your brain, Moors. In your brain, you got to remember, you have every deacon. You have three response in your brain. I promise you, it's there. I can show you all about the 12. I can show you all about the 12. It's in your brain. Your brain have in your reactors, and they all have 3 deacons, which equals to 12. To have one's mind aroused, to be wise, to be wide awake, Moors. The suffix, the tick in mathematic, shortened version of the Greek word techne, T-E-K-H-N-E, as in what, Moors? Technique. in the word mathematics means system, process, or craft. Thus, the etymological sense of the word mathematics, Moors, is the art of what? Thinking. How? Systematic learning, or through thought process. When I say you have to systematically study, not just listen to somebody because they sound good. So, Moors, what I'm saying, modern scientists as a form of scientific results and conclusion. Okay, whereas mathematics use definitions, abstractions, right? Follow me. Walk with we give you. I'm giving you the supreme. The 4 basic steps to scientific method are observation, right? Hypothesis, testing, conclusions. While the 4 basic idea and abstract form the basis are what, Moors? Mathematical objects. Mathematical objects are used to model and represent various observed aspects in reality and the natural world, Moors. I keep going on. Examples of some modern mathematical objects include numbers, functions, formulas, equations, groups, sets, graph, matrix, points, lines, triangles, circles, squares, cubes. Mathematic objects exist as concepts, do not exist in reality. Are you following me? However, mathematic objects provide a way for the human mind, for your hippocampus, to comprehend, explain, and model reality. I hope you follow me, Moors. Proper understanding of what I'm trying to say, Moors, enables the observer or the student to distinguish what exists as a concept and what exists as reality. For example, Moors, I'll give you this. It cannot be proven that the number 2 exists in reality, right? I hope you follow me. However, it can be proven that based on the definition, what the number 2 represents. Now I'm going to signs and symbols of the primordial man. Examples can be found in reality that correspond to what the number 2 represents by definition, right? The same is true for all mathematical objects. Thus, the best, Moors, and most efficient mathematical object are those concepts and ideas whose symbols closely correspond to the real phenomena that they intend to represent, Moors. I hope you following me, man. This mental process of conceptually, figuratively, and symbolically depicting, portraying, and displaying real nature phenomenon for the purpose of learning, corresponding, applying, and manipulating nature began with the earliest humans in Africa, Biblicl, whatever you want to call it. And so some examples of the earliest African method objects include many of the gods and goddesses like Ta. Remember, the P is silent. Re or Ra, Tahuti, Mayat, Hika, and their associated signs and symbols. Don't y'all know the signs and symbols? Come on, man. We got to operate on love and what's right. Those are all signs of African mathematics. And I say Africa, listen to the context, because Africa is not named after no European. That's false teaching. That's false teaching. I don't care if a person watched Hidden Color, whoever the brother that studied scholars, they know that's not true. Historically, they know that's not true. And simple research will prove that. I demonstrate and give you all the facts. But mathematics is the science that can be found in all fields of science. Thus, mathematics is the science in science. It's a combination of mathematics based on logic and reason with natural sciences based on the evidence and the scientific method that enables correct and accurate descriptions, comprehension, and explanation of nature and reality. Mathematical models that accurately describe the evidence experienced in natural sciences facilitates the ability to model, replicate, recreate various observed natural phenomena, right? We got to understand, Moors, the purpose of any type of knowledge is to use and apply it, right? I hope you know that. It is the union of the evidence and experience from the natural science with the logic and reason from mathematics that makes it possible to use and apply any knowledge obtained from survival and well-being. Mathematics is a mental process of finding and figuring things out. Mathematics is mental process of finding an answer to a question or the solution to a problem. Like when I tell Moors, I say, well, you talking about a problem? Do you have a solution? No. What you talk about it for? Mathematics is the solution form of or solution reason. And it's the mind concentrating the answer to a of the problem. Moors, mathematics as the solution form of reason is naturally solvent, capable of solving problems, Moors. Come on. Moors, mathematics was known to the earliest Africans as Heka, H-E-K-A. H-E as to represent the manipulation of the elements of nature, Moors. Heka is often defined as magic. That's why they try to put black magic on it and they want you to stay away from it. Magic is defined as the practice of producing a desire or result by techniques that enable humans to control forces of nature. That's when I tell Moor that if you're a Moor and you under some temple and you talk about he got to take me to the adapt chamber, he should get to you because you got to master that yourself. That's where all the mantras and all that come from in your rituals. Somebody telling you spookism. In modern terms, Moors, Heka and magic would be called engineering. Engineering is defined as the process of technical knowledge to design and develop inventions that realize a desired object, family. When looking at the definitions of engineering, magic, and Heka, their relationship can be seen. Practicing engineering, Heka, or magic on mathematics. Now we can go with the etymology of the word engineer. Engine, meaning what, Moors? I hope you writing this down. Skill and cleverness. And also the word ingenuum or ingenium, I-N-G-E-N-I-U-M, meaning inborn qualities or talent, and gene, meaning to begot or produce, something that's been passed down to you. Given the etymology of the word engineer and the definition of the word engineer as someone who practiced Heka or magic, the process of acquiring and applying scientific and mathematic knowledge for the purpose of producing a desired effect, Moors. It implies that the engineering ability is related to genes, genetics, or certain inborn qualities. It is also true that the ancient Africans viewed the ability of practice magic or Heka engineering with certain blood lineages or genetics. Man, we can go on, Moors. I'm going to go on till it cut off. We got about 30 more minutes. In mathematics, Moors, there is a field called what? Pure mathematics. Also called what? Speculative mathematics, which is performing mathematics solely for the purpose of displaying eloquent logic and reason, or ritual, without the intention of ever applying the mathematical concepts to the real world. Same thing I do, I apply it to my life. When I say mind, body, and spirit must agree as one, I mean that. When I say how you going to be a king without your queen or your empress, you're just a good dude or a prince. Come on, man. When I act, the guard that produced food and life. When I say the queen sits on the throne with the king. If you don't understand that, that's messed up. That's messed up. This is the opposite of the field of mathematics called applied mathematics, also called operative mathematics, Moors. Applied mathematics is the field of mathematics dedicated to the application and the utilization of mathematics in all other sciences and disciplines. The peculiar reality about pure mathematics, Moors, or speculative math, is that, speculative mathematics is that while it may be performed without the intention of being applied, if the mathematical concepts developed are based on deductive reasoning. Hold on, Morris. Sorry about that, fam. All right, we back. Now, I'm going to give you some things to warn about, like the danger of pure math is if rigorous deductive reasoning is abandoned, degraded, disregarded, or forgotten while performing this pure math family or speculative mathematics through the process of any type, then it gives way to creating mental objects that have no application in the real world, that are literally useless and serve the purpose of being only mind-numbing, only entertainment. Like when I tell Moors, this is a holistic teaching. In Moorish science, when we say God and man is one, in the gods of earth, when we say the black man, the Asiatic man is God, that's the truth. When Clarence X, he was a part of the Nation of Islam, he studied, he figured that out. He got away from that teaching because the Nation of Islam was teaching nationality. They gave out ID cards. Khalid Muhammad, he tell you he was a Moor. Come on, man, we gotta get things right. And brothers, this and stuff, I said, the biblical scripture is all about you. I'm a follower of Yahshua. All Moors should be. All Moors should. If you have your identity cards, we rebate all the law and the prophets. Jesus, which is Yahshua, Buddha, Muhammad, Confucius, the Guanatán Buddha, all the stuff you're supposed to be studying. Just like when I demonstrated about Zoroastrianism, when a person was trying to say no withdrawal, studied all the sciences, just like I have. But pure math or speculative mathematical reasoning gives way to the esoteric field of numerology. Numerology, by definition, is any system of set of ideas, beliefs, or hypotheses about the relationship between numbers and reality. I can talk about operative numerology, but I want to get into something else. So I'm finna get into this when brothers don't explain something. When somebody tell you got to study, and then you say, okay, and tomorrow gonna be the test. And you say, okay, wait, what do I need to study because the test tomorrow? And they just say study. That's an excuse they don't know. When I tell you to study, I give you what to study. And you can ask questions that because I'm a teacher. I'm an Abba. I'm a Buddhist. This is what I do, man. I study all scriptures. You are in the biblical scripture. You are in all religious books. You in there. So let's consider the ancient mathematical problem, hey, babe, hello, of squaring the circle. Squaring the circle is the process of trying to construct a square that has the same area as a circle using only a compass and a straight edge. Follow me, Moors. The operative, the exoteric quantification science, while numerology represents the subjective, the infinite speculative, the esoteric quantification science. Are you following me? The principles of the field of mathematics could be represented by geometric symbols of the square. Principles of the field of numerology could be represented by the geometric symbol of the circle, Moors. If you follow me, somebody say, I'm following you. Esoterically, in the field of numerology, the process of squaring the circle is a metaphor for attempting to make the infinite become finite and make the unknown become known. Making mathematics equivalent to numerology. For example, I'll demonstrate this. Esoterically, in the field of mathematics, Moors, the geometric problem of squaring the circle, it does have a theoretical solution, but the theoretical solution is considered impossible to apply or construct using a compass and a straight edge tool because the equation for the area of a circle contains the infinite transcendental constant number pi, 3.1459. Mathematically, while squares and circles are both equal in degree, with both shapes having a total of 360 degrees, each, they are different in the formulas or parameter or the circumference area. Watch this. I'm going to show you. Let me get some paper. Oh, my emperor's going to be mad I made a mess again. Watch this. And then I'm going to show you how you square the circle as well. Watch this. Watch this. Watch this. Watch the square. Watch this. Simple science. So you don't get caught up in spookism. We destroy spookism. You see that? I know my writing is ugly, but what is that? That's a circle and a square, and they have the same degree. I mean, walk with me. You see it, don't you? So let's finish our teachings. Let's finish. I'm gonna show you pictures, for you can get a better pictorial of my ugly writing. Alike or different is the question. We talk about degrees, man. Who said good and bad is bad? It's just a degree that we don't know. Who said hot and who said cold? In some areas, hot is cold and vice versa. Do the thermostat have to go outside itself for hot and cold, Morris? Talk to me. Somebody talk to me. Does the thermostat in your house go outside itself for hot or cold? It depends on the way that. Come on, Morris. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. So total degree of a circle equals 360. Parameter is the end. Diameter area is the radius. Total degree of a square is 360. Parameter 4 in length. Area is the length. How can you square the circle? Watch this. And I'm going to show you the pictures for you can know. Watch this. It's too simple. But we got to be students, man. And we got to be willing to say we don't know instead of just saying stuff because it sounds good. We don't get into that stuff. We don't do that. And with real scientists don't practice malpractice. We don't do that. Writing is ugly, Maury, but I want you to get a visual of the real writings. All my arrows in here that I'm showing you, all my arrows is showing you the degrees of the circle and the square. I'm pointing to the corners. The R equals 1. This be my thing with brothers and sisters. This is the thing that I know. Why don't we want to be taught by our own brothers and sisters that we know that been through the fire? The only way to beat the fire is go through the fire. I know my background. I know who I am. That's why I'm stand strong. I have real degrees. I don't have no fake degrees. But why would a brother or more would want to be taught by their own brother or sister? They say, well, I remember him. Yeah, I remember you too. And you still live in the same with each other. And that's sad. We should be around each other. It's too many of us. And we should be taught by our own kind. And we should check everything that makes sure it's factual. So let's deal with this. The theoretical solution to the problem is to construct a circle with a radius equaling 1, a diameter equaling 2, and a square with the length, what? I just gave you, 1.77245, where the area of the circle and the square would both be what? Pi. The closest whole number approximation that uses a circle and a square with similar areas is a circle with a diameter of what, Morris? We're going back to that 9 again. The radius equaling 4.5 and a square with the length equaling 8, where the area of the circle would be approximately 63.9 and the area of the square, as stated, area of the square would be 64. I mean, we can demonstrate all day. I mean, it's there. I don't hide nothing from my brothers and sisters. This is what makes you win. Morris, I've been in positions, I'm a contractor, I've been in positions to make a lot of money, I'm doing a lot of things, but that don't give me joy. What gives me joy is doing this. And now I'm a director at the Youth Development Institution in Arizona. I can make money. That's simple. Because it comes to me. But that's a whole nother teaching, man. I don't make money off none of my people. I'm an author. I'm a publisher. Most of my people don't buy my literature. It's some of my people that bought my literature, and I thank those that did. But I've authored 10 books. And I sell them all out. I don't put my books on Amazon because I'm not finna use nobody else's platform. I use my own platform. Just the other day, we sold over 300 books at a church. And the minister teach the truth. So I always tell people, look at the type. Look at the type. If your heart was broken, you gonna say everybody ain't right, all men, all women ain't right, or are you gonna research it? It's always the heightened. But as I stated before, Moors, the goal of supreme mathematics is a knowledge and information that is usable, able to be used and applicable, able to be applied. And for this reason, Moors, I'm trying to attempt to metaphorically square the circle or take the usable and the applicable components of both mathematics and numerology, since both of the fields are African in origin, Moors. The field of mathematics, called applied mathematics, is emphasized due to it being readily practical, applicable, and usable holistically. Come on, man. I'll give you a little bit about the origins of mathematics. The Greek word mathema, M-A-T-H-E-M-A, meaning thought, and the word mathematics is also related to the word methusa, M-E-T-H-E-U-S, or methus, meaning thought, that can be found in the name of the Greek deity Prometheus, meaning forethought. In Greek mythology, Moors, Prometheus was the son of Themis, the Greek deity called Lady of Justice. Prometheus stole fire from Zeus and gave it to humanity. Prometheus is comparable to another character in Greek mythology called Hermes. That's why I tell you, more, don't get caught up in nothing, because if you know history, there was 20 saviors like the Christ that were crucified all through history. If you understand the 18 missing years in Jesus, which is Joshua's life over to the east teaching, but we get caught up in hate. Hermes, who in the inventor of fire, the messenger of the Greek deities and Greek deity of wisdom, writing, and invention. The fire in the Greek mythology story of Hermes invented the Prometheus, stole from Zeus, and he gave humanity is symbolic of knowledge or information, which humanity acquires by thinking and learning. And this fire or knowledge could be used in either way. Just like I said with fire, it can warm you up or it can burn you. Just like snow, it can cool you or it can freeze you. Duality. The fire for all intentions and purposes is mathematics, the human thought process, man. Right? Right? The same principles found in Prometheus steals fire. The story can be found in the biblical Genesis. I can teach you all histories from the Tabitha scriptures to the Nag Vedas, all that, to all the texts, to the Vedas, all there. But you can find that in the Bible, in Genesis, story of the serpent, who is equated with Lucifer, the light or torch bearer. You see that? In the Garden of Eden, who convinced Adam and Eve to eat from the tree of knowledge, which God attempted to keep from humanity. Another story which parallels that Prometheus story about humanity's acquisition of fire, which is knowledge, is the story of Obasi Asawa, O-B-A-S-S, Moors, I-O-S-A-W, amongst the Efik people in Niger and Nigeria, in Africa. According to the Eco story, Obasi Asawa, also spelled A-B-A-S-S-I, the sky god and creator deity, chose not to give fire to the first humans he created. One day, a young boy was able to steal fire from Obasi Asawa and bring it back to humanity, Moors. You see how we can connect the dots? Both the biblical story and the Greek story were molded after the African stories, which predated them. Period. The Greek deities in particular were molded after the African Egyptian deity Tahuti. Tahuti, also called Jehuti, D-J-E-H-U-T-I, Moors. Zehuti or Tot was the Egyptian god of wisdom, writing, magic, science, math, measuring time. Tahuti was a lunar deity and often depicted as a man with the head of an ibis bird or as a baboon. Just like when you get caught up in spookies, you're like, oh, the Baphomet is evil. No, it ain't. The Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. You don't understand what Kabbalistically writing is. That means the Temple of David, Tim, Hope, Av, Abba. I can teach it. It's there. You got all the deities in there representing the woman. You got the go ahead. You got everything. The what's above is below, the iron is going down. It's too much science. In Egyptian mythology, Tahuti was the husband of Ma'at, the Egyptian goddess of truth, justice, order, and divine wisdom. Tahuti was responsible for transforming the creative will of Ra, the Egyptian sun god, into action. Tahuti was associated with the philosophical concept of logos. Now watch this. Watch this. I'm going to say this again. Tahuti was associated with the philosophical concept of logos, meaning word or saying that an action or work, which is derived from the word lego, meaning to count, to speak. Logos also is used to indicate the logic or reason, purpose, and hypothesis for speaking. Watch this. Watch this. When I get into the mystery of the Silent Brotherhood of the East. Peace, more. Peace, my brother. When I get into chapters, I think this is chapter, let's see. I forget what chapter it is. I think it's what? Oh, no, I didn't. Let me see. Chapter 14. Jesus, which is Yahshua, received the mystic name and number and passed the first brotherhood test. The master took down from the wall a scroll which was written down the number and the name of every attribute, character, and he said, the circle is the symbol of the perfected man, and the 7 is the number of the perfected man. Right? The logos. What? The logos is the perfected word, that which creates, that which destroys, and that which saves. This Hebrew master is the logos. What did you say, Brother Bay? I said, this Hebrew master is the logos of the Holy One, the circle of the human race, the 7 of time. Huh? And in the record book, the scribe wrote down the logos, the circle, the 7, and thus was Jesus known, which is Yahshua. This master said, the logos will give heed to what I say. No man can enter into light till he has found himself. Go forth and search till you have found your soul, and then return. The guy led Jesus, which was Yahshua, to a room in which the light was faint and mellow like the light of early dawn. The chamber walls were marked with mystic signs, with hieroglyphs and sacred texts. And in the chamber, Jesus, which is Yahshua, found himself alone, where he remained for years. He remembered the sacred texts, thought out the meanings of the hieroglyphics, and sought the importance of the master's charge to find him. A revelation came. He got acquainted with his soul, or his higher self. He found himself. Then he was not alone. Huh? Just like I gave you in our Circle 7 Quran, chapter 11, verse 43. I mean, we got to stop the hate, man. Most more listen to people that's not there. I know too many more that don't even read this. They don't even have it. They don't even have this book right here, this holy book. Most Moors don't have it. How can you say you study the prophets, the teachers of Noble Drew Ali? You don't have this. It's sad. Verse 43, chapter 11. The Hebrew prophet is the rising star of wisdom, defied. He brings to us a knowledge of the secret things of Allah, and all the world will hear his word and glorify his name. You priests of the temple of Kavistu, stay, be still, and listen. When he speaks, he is the living oracle of Allah. And all the priests gave thanks and praised the Buddha of the enlightenment. The Buddha. Come on, man. Come on, Moors. Come on. Logos also is used to indicate logic. I gave you that. All of this is to show that the origin of the word mathematics come from the African deity. So here we go, the Hebrew God, and there is the logos. Where he from? It's telling you. You just got to research it. Just as it has been shown that the word mathematics come from the African deity Tahuti, it can be shown that the word number, which is essential to mathematics, come from Tahuti's wife, an African goddess Mayat. The etymology of the word number is from Greek word nemin, N-E-M-E-I-N, meaning to divide, to distribute, allot, or allot, or deal out Moors. The Greek word nemin is the root of the word nemesis, or nemesis. Nemesis is a Greek goddess who distributes or deals out retributive justice, vengeance, and divine retribution as a result of disregarding another Greek goddess called Themis, Lady Justice, who was the mother of Prometheus and personification of divine order and law. Both Nemesis and Themis were worshipped by the Greeks in a temple called Ramonius, R-A-N-O-U-S. The prefix Moors, the R-H-A-M, in the word Ramonios, come from the Greek word ramata, meaning words, utterance, or command. And the suffix nous in the Greek word rhamnios comes from the Greek word nous or nous, meaning mind or intellect. There was nous, which is the mind, divine utterance, and mayat will be discussed. I'll discuss that later. I'm gonna leave you with this, because I can go on for days, man. I'm a teacher. I love to teach. I love to teach. Let's see. Let me see. Where can I give you? I want to give you some. I hope you understand about the 9 to the 9, like the two logarithmic spirals. The 6 can combine geometrically to form a symbol that resembles the number 8 or infinity. So what it is? The 8 or infinity geometrically symbols is also prevalent in cosmograms and other say found in geometric symbol 8, which displays the dual principles of geometric figures 6 and 9. It's called the Visca Pisces, which means the bladder of a fish, which alludes to the concept of primordial waters called Nu or Nun in Egypt. When I tell you, when people are like, oh, the son of Nun, I can show you the whole area, who Nun was. I can demonstrate all that. That ain't no magical stuff. It was an area, all that. I can show you. Nun in Egypt, and also the fish or whale called Nuin, N-U-W-N in Hebrew, that swallowed in the biblical story. The Visca, the Pisces sacred geometrical shape, is the origin of the Venn diagrams used in logic, statistics more. But in modern philosophy, Pisces shape is used to represent the concept of the dyad or duet, which is considered the divine mind, the nous, and the demiurge, the D-E-M-I-U-R-G-E, or Moors, the creative force in nature. The African or Africa Moors, all creation stories have in common that Nu or Nun was the source from which creation sprang. The shape of the Visca Pisces of the orbit of the binary stars, Sirius A and Sirius B, that is significant to the Dogon people in Mali and in West Africa. I mean, we can demonstrate all day, man, because the wisdom is here. The science is right in your face. The science be right in our face. I can go on and on, Moors, but I'm going to stop right there, man, because my Empress is like, time to go. It's our date night again, and I love it. But I'll show you one more thing. When we talk about the circle in the circle and all that, I'm gonna demonstrate this and we out. We got to know what all the signs and symbols mean, Moors. We can't get caught up in spookism. Somebody got to explain it to you and not just have stuff. If a person has something and you ask them to explain it and they get mad, that's messed up. No one should get mad if you ask for explanation and clarity, because you want to be righteous and you want to be manufactured about yourself. So let's do a little science and we're gonna be out. The gnosis, the compass in a square. That can mean gnosis, that can mean genetics, it can mean a plethora of things. When I tell you words have duality. When people be talking about the star and the moon, that ain't got nothing to do with that got to do with the Ma and the sun, because the star and the moon has something to do with life. Right? I'm gonna show you another symbol. I'm gonna show you all the symbols. Where my book of Transcendental Magic? Hold on. Here we go. Here go the Transcendental Magic. What they try to tell you is something scary, which Eliseus Levi connotated. It coming from the River Nile god. You see, the hands is above, is below. People don't even read what the solve and what the Kagla mean. And they don't see the 5-point star on his head. Arm, leg, arm, head. You don't understand what the go head with the breast is all about. I'm sorry. So let's finish. Let's finish demonstrating. Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer, Leo, Virgo, Libra, Scorpio, all those is in the brain. The brain have 12 functions. Our brain has 12 functions. We got to know that. And every constellation has 3 deacons. I hope we know that. The 3 wise men represents the pineal or the pituitary gland. Moors, research Africa or Africa, the flesh of God. Research this symbol. Research these symbols. Somebody getting you caught up in spookism. When I tell you Africa is not named after no European per se. The crest, the I am Christ, the crown anointed, which mummified. That's this here. That's this here. That's the brain. So now we can talk about chakras. You know what I mean? The imagination, the faith, the will, the understanding, the name, the nature coming from your mouth, the power coming from your throat. You see that medical sign in there? I'm telling you, you see all that in there. The wisdom, the strength, the order, the elimination, life, the testes. What is testament? What is testament? Test the body. Minty mind. The old becomes new when we talking about death. Understanding your higher self, Moors. When we talk about boy, that's biological youth organism. Here we go again. You see the head, the lungs, the heart, intestines, your own universe. That's you. God, generator, operator, destroyer. Let's do some science, man. Egypt, the the alphabet equals 5, the G equals 7, the Y equals 7, the P equals 7, the T equals 2. So you got it equals 4 sevens. The Latin Zenoni star child per se. Don't y'all know what that means? That's 360 as well. When it's sitting straight up, when so-called Hitler got it, he turned it to the side. 90, 90, 90, 90. I mean, it's too simple. 90, 90, 90, 90. The same way the circle and the square has 360. Right? Come on, man. The law structure. 90, 90, 90, 90, 360. When you see that cross and people be like, oh, that's some European cross, that's sustainability. Fire, earth, air, river. That's that fear. Hebrew really is her web. When you see that web, why? Because the zodiac has how many strings? 360 strings. The same way the spider web has 360 strings. The same way our fez has 360 strings. The same way everything on that fez means something. Represents the woman. Period. The tie, what's above is below. The yin and the yang. All have to do with you. The lower self and the lower self and the higher self. Haram Mabith, 3 spiritual powers. Energy, insight, and spiritual power. That's the secret in 1 Kings 7 and 13, which scholars not going to tell us because they took an oath. The Quran, it means knowledge, order, rhythm, astrology, astronomy, nature. That's that fear. Earth, water, fire, air, ether. Masan, that's Masan. There go the other triangle with the slash. That's self or the soul. There go that what? Compass to circumscribe the world. Ruler to measure it. The 6-point star people like to say, that's the above coming to meet what's up below, or the above and the below. You see that cross with the circle around it? Sustainability. Fear the earth. Fire, earth, air, river, water. If that's one from us, everybody be dead. Islam, I self, law and master. Not no al-Islam. Allah, arm, leg, arm, head. That's what that means in more science. If somebody telling you they practice some al-Islam, that's on them. That's their thing that they want to gravitate to. But they're not telling you the truth. If you want to know what more science is, here we talk about the Kemetic principles again. The 7 laws of the universe. Mentalism, cause and effect, gender, rhythm, vibration, correspondence, polarity. That's the 7 Kemetic principles, Moors. What else can we connect it to? The 7 lotus, the 7 wheels, the 7 veils, the root, the genital, the solar, the heart, the throat, the pineal, the crown, your chakras. I can connect what's above to below, which is your body. There go that triangle. Understanding, the sun child, the wisdom, Sophia, Holy Spirit woman. That's why in biblical scriptures, Sophia is dedicated as wisdom, knowledge, father, man. There go that circle 7. That's not no circle. We can teach that later, but everyone is born in the circle. And the 7 is perfection on the physical plane, which we just read. The circle 11 and the 7, right? When we talk about the 360 is the total sum of material wisdom. which is just understanding material wisdom. But 720 is the total sum of both spiritual and material knowledge. We must master ourselves. Are we clear? So when somebody getting you saying that this is something scary, and ask them, do they study Kabbalah, which is all our science or science? It's something wrong. They not studying. They don't understand language. They don't understand etymology. They don't understand nothing. This is nothing scary. And that's why they got you, because nobody studied. The Baphomet is written Kabbalistically. Temple of Abba, meaning the Temple of David. But who am I? Like I said, Moors, I love you all. Love, truth, peace, freedom, justice, health, and wealth. Peace.